everyone inside your conference packs, there's this card. If you get them all signed off by all the booths as being visited, it can be dropped and there'll be a raffle draw this evening, and there is a cash prize. So it's in everyone's interest to make sure that you actually get the best out of the exhibition downstairs. The next product presentation is by Asahi Glass Company, AGC. Are we ready?
AGC, and I will make the presentation together with Nena, who's our Country Business Development Director in Nigeria. Okay, so who is AGC? In a few words, can you? It works. So we're making glass for architectural applications. We also make glass for automotive applications, for furniture, for a lot of different industries. But the glass application is certainly our major activity. So, so we are working with the largest architects all over the world. We have also made a lot of projects in Nigeria. We are quoted on the stock exchange of Tokyo, and the headquarters of the glass business is in Belgium, where we have a lot of expertise about glass for a long, long period of time. So as I said, glass is the major activity of the company. We also have activities in electronics and chemicals. We are present all over the world in different regions. So America, Europe, Asia, and we are now opening the activities in Africa. Including, we start with Morocco, but we also go for sub-Saharan Africa in the coming years. We do glass for with very different quality and very different performance depending on the needs of the country. For example, in Europe, you need to prevent the cold to enter the building. In Nigeria, you need to prevent the heat to get into the building, and you need to control the glare, because otherwise you have a lot of light getting into the building. And most of people, what do? They have a clear glass, they shut the curtain, they shut the blinds, and then they leave it in a box. What we propose is to control the light transmission and to have a comfortable lighting while still being connected to the outside, and to prevent the heat to enter. We have products that prevent up to 83% of the heat to get into the building. We also did a lot of projects in Nigeria, so Central Bank of Nigeria, EcoBank, but Nena will come back to these projects when she will take the floor. But just to tell you that we are not new to Nigeria. What is new is that we have Nena present in Nigeria who can talk to architects and help you to decide on the right choice of the glass. So we have a lot of innovation, new products every day, every year in our company. We have about 300 researchers doing research only about glass. Okay? And we are focusing on operational excellence. Quality is a real mindset for Japanese people and also for Belgian people. And we expand to new geographies. Our proposal to architects is the close collaboration, because they cannot know about every product.
So we've come into Nigeria because we believe in the country Nigeria, and we know that glass is a product for the future. Our office in Nigeria opened last year in April, and it's the first AGC office that we have in Africa. The purpose of opening this office and having me here is so that we can offer better support, better consulting services to you, the architects, to the facade makers, to everyone really in the building and construction industry that works with glass. And our intention is to grow with the country. The range of products that we'll be looking at today are the products that we consider suitable for our kind of climate. And these are the solar control products. And these products range through these products: the stop rays, stop source, sun energy, the sun looks shadow, a very special product, and of course our decorative range. Our stop source product is a paralytic. When we say paralytic, it's a hard-coated product that is able to give you low solar factor within the building. Nigeria has a lot of heat, and our primary purpose, with glass in the buildings is always to shut out too much light, too much glare, and maintain some level of cool within the building. This product is able to do that. We're able to give you low light transmission to control that glare, so you're not in your office and looking for blinds again. So we can do away with blinds thanks to our stop source product. Because it is is a hard-coated product. The shelf life is infinite. It's infinite. I see that we've just got 2 minutes. I thought it was 15 minutes in all, and we had only done about 4. All right, so I'll race through it. Sonergy is also a solar control product, but it has the added advantage of low E properties. A lot of architects talk low E. This product is able to deliver that. And the key benefit is that it helps you to lower your air conditioning cost within the building. The stop spray is a soft-coated product, meaning that the coated area cannot be used on position 1, so it must always be used in double glazing. It has a neutral finish and is able to give you a very good light level of natural light coming into the building. It also has the ability to give you U value that is as low as 1.0 because it always comes in the insulated combination. So, I want to talk through a little bit of simulation that we do. Like I had mentioned that in Nigeria, we have need for for lower light coming into the building and to also control the level of heat that gets into the building. And it's as a result of this problem that we've identified that we came up with a very special product, which is called the Sunlux Shadow. This product has everything that we need in Nigeria. In terms of solar factor, it's going to give that to us. In terms of the light transmission as well. So it gives you good light transmission while shutting out the heat that you do not need in the building. It's very resistant and it is very easy to process. It can be used in single glazing, so it's a soft coating that has the durability and strength of a hard-coated product. The price is very competitive, and of course it comes with a unique 10-year warranty of AGC. Let me do this and then I think I would round up. We did a simulation for a 15-story building in Lagos using monolithic glass, just single sheets of glass. And the result, very simple. The colors going away, no. This product will be able to deliver that. For the kitchen, for the fireplace, it can actually sit in the fireplace, the temperable version, and it would not suffer thermal shock. Okay, it comes in all of these very beautiful colors. I think I would round off on this particular slide. Green is the language of today. Green is the future. Almost every single product from AGC has one green certification or the other. To achieve your green architecture objectives, come work with us and we'll give you products that will help you to get those certifications with ease. I remain Nenaya Asoka. Thank you.
For your contribution.
And I remember that when I was a little girl, and my parents used to take us to Rama Waters in Lagos, on the island. This whole area where we are, used to be Kurama Waters. And my father was a social welfare officer, and he used to take us boys and girls camping. And we used to swim, we used to have fun. We used to catch shrimps, and it was heaven. And then gradually we started losing this wetland. To the extent that when I was in the Lagos State government, and by that time we had the main part of this hotel, and some other parts of VI had been built. But the extension of a hotel was still like a pond, you know, and we were insisting that that portion should be left because it was still able to, some water was still able to flow into it, some drained into it, and we felt this should still be left. But that was not to be. You see, we, as he rightly said, we are our own enemies. we look at something, we want it, whether it is advantageous to the country, whether it is beneficial to the people, it really doesn't matter. We want it and we must get it. And so that portion of land was unfilled, and that is where you have the extension. And that is why when the ocean was overflowing, there was nowhere to go. And that is why you now have to do that extensive work where you now call Eco-Atlantic. Eco-Atlantic used to be where, when we were young, we used to go for picnic. But then the lagoon came coming in, and there has to be serious engineering work for that Eco-Atlantic to be what it is now. So, as architects, we are silent. We are very silent, we are very quiet. I think we need to do more talking, we need to do more highlighting of some of the things that are being done that are injurious. The other gentleman said that, yes, they don't use wood because wood is being our forestry is being destroyed. In those days, you can only buy timber that is matured. You tell your carpenter you want matured timber, well seasoned. These days, they are not allowed to grow to maturity before they are cut down because the demand is so much. There must be some level of regulation. There must be some arm of architects that we must be able to point out these things to governments. And I just pray that being in Lagos, and as I always say, Lagos State Charter had always been in the forefront of doing things. I pray that we will look at our environment and see where we really need to come in. Not just architectural work for ourselves, but other things that we need to do. The state government has given us till August. I wonder what the state chapter did about that. They made a pronouncement. They've given everybody in Lagos State till August to get approved plan. They are not going to charge you. They are not going to penalize you. If you don't have an approved plan for your building, you have till August ending to get drawings and approved plan. What is the state chapter doing about that? Are we taking advantage of that? After August, if you submit any plans that for a built building, you'll be penalized. But now we still have May, June, July, August, 4 months. In case you didn't see that advertisement or pronouncement by the state government. So, thank you very much.
Together, the two papers. And what I would like to do is to give opportunity to 2 people each for each of the papers to say something. And I'm sorry, we will have to keep it short and simple. That's the case the architect was talking about. Keep it short and simple. Please go straight to the point. Don't tell me you agree with the last speaker. We already know what the last speaker said. If you have questions, please don't make them multifaceted. If you're asking one question, please ask one question so that we can get out of here very quickly. Before I hand over to the chairman, because I will check out the sit tight kind of thing, we would not let them work. And work was held up for a few weeks until they listened to us. And they promised they were going to open the canal only for an estate to spring up in our backyard, sand-filled water was going on. So every time it rains now, that's what happens. Well, we had a series of meetings. We would not let up. We would not let them rest. We've had a series of meetings with Lagos State. Unfortunately, about 5 weeks ago, they agreed that work should start on the regionalization. So we've just started that work now. But the question I ask is that should we be doing these type of things retrogressively? What about master planning? What about the data that Architect Roman was talking about? What about statistics? We know these things. So why do we put them under the table? Why, for instance, don't our architects in the ministries network with those in the built environment, in the private sector? So these are all questions that I want us to ponder. I don't want us to just talk. I want us to act. Secondly, I would like to talk to Sam. Thank you very much for a beautiful paper. But I must explain what I meant by politics and architecture. You live in an environment where plans transcend administrations. Now, what I was saying is that if you had a project that went on for 10 years, which I think transcended the lives of administrations, we should also have a commitment to making sure that our projects transcend the lives of politics. That's what I meant. So having said so, I will give the mic to the chairman to talk about the approved plans, what the NIA State Charter is doing, and to sensitize people. Thereafter, we will take questions or whatever from two people, and then the two lecturers will respond. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On the approved plan, the 6 months given, we've analyzed it and we've realized that the 6 months will never work, can't work because of the process you need to go through. So first thing we're doing is to push the government to see if they can extend it while we continue to sensitize our people. We have further gone as far as telling members of the public who actually need support from us, that we as architects in Lagos State will be willing to help, because some of these people will probably need to do the design of their houses before they can now submit those things for drawing. We are also engaging the government on this. First, we said extend it to a realistic time to avoid this rush of not getting it properly done. Some will have to get their land document, some will have to get their own papers correct. We believe that the 6 months will not be enough for them to get all these things. So we are engaging the government to see if they can extend it more. We want to agree on the time we think is realistic, then we can write the government officially. We're engaging them at the ministry level. Even as of Monday, I was in the office of the Physical Planning Commissioner for Physical Planning Office to invite them. They are going to be here tomorrow, and when they come, I think we'll also put it up to them. We also invited them to come and listen to what is going to be presented today. They promise they will be here tomorrow to join us. Some of their staff are actually around. I've seen people from works, infrastructure, people in housing and physical planning. By tomorrow we'll engage them forward. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that clarifies the issue. So, very quickly, 2 questions from either side. Anyone? Yes. You will tell us your name and then who you're directing the question at.
And our subject of approving buildings already built. I think it's observable by all of us that in a planning office, the ratio of architects to planners is maybe 0.1% to 0.1 to 10. You go into a planning office to submit your drawings for approval, and it's a planner that meets you. It's not just the architects that are in deficient number. I also think that there is a need for more structural engineers, electrical engineers, mechanical engineers. But in the case of actually approving a drawing based on form and function. It shouldn't be that is a planner that is reviewing an architect's work. Because of this, some of the things that we do, or some of the things that are being done, some of policies or some of the plans that the government takes on board are not well informed as well, because there's not enough representation by other members of the built industry, particularly architects, in taking up some of this role. So for instance, in the case of regeneration, the idea is amazing. You want to take a portion of Isaleiko, you want to rejuvenate life into it. The idea is fine, but how many people are architects that can actually tell you how the form of a building or some of the buildings within your cohesive plan will make an impact on the people that are going to use the place thereafter? So I think right from the beginning, the problem of not even having enough representation as a profession diminishes any kind of impact that we can have in whatever government is going to institutionalize. So my question therefore is, what is the institute doing to try to get government to hire more? I know it's not a very lucrative enterprise. Maybe architects themselves don't want to be employed by the government. But it's also possible for us to, for senior colleagues to volunteer their time on behalf of the government because they want to see a better Lagos, a better Nigeria. Maybe if that kind of compromise can be come in play, then we can have a better,
I think we can start offering governments that, look, we can come in twice, we can have an architect in the office twice, 3 times a week. We have a project with the state government for approval, and it's been stopped because the engineer that's supposed to look at it is away, and the last 2 weeks is not available, and we keep phoning, is the engineer back? It's not back. And so it's stopped until I went there myself and I said, no, this is not right. And they're like, because I retired from that ministry, and they're like, oh, please, we don't want you to go to the permanent secretary, we don't want you to get to the commissioner, please, we'll do whatever we can, even if we have to go and look for another engineer. So that is the story. So she's quite right that there are not enough engineers, architects in the ministry. In fact, there was time when there were none. Now they have a few. I think they have one in each district office or something like that. So I don't know how architects can get employed there, because it's not as if they have it. We were in charge before, in the time of architects, Craig and the other ones. Architects were in charge of the physical planning, and then it became rosy outside. So we all left, and the town planners who really, how many cities do you want to design? How many places do you want to design? So they are all in the ministry. So they have taken over. So it's going to be difficult for you to now come and take over. But we need to make it known, as she has said, that architects are the only ones that can review the work of an architect. So I will enjoy the Lagos State chapter once again to make presentation to the ministry, as we have been discussing with them, and offer. And once they have agreed, I'm sure you have a line of architects who can volunteer to go in there and do whatever needs to be done. Thank you.
My name is Azuka. I'm an industrialist. I'm not an architect. And my question is from the educational side. And I'm drawing experience from what we currently experience in industry, where you have people who have degrees and education, yet they cannot deliver what that education is supposed to give. You have engineers who can engineer nothing. Now I come into architecture and the environment. I'm a Lagosian and I've done a bit of travel. Let me first say to architects here that my city, Lagos, those that God we can't do anything about, but those coming, what can we do? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think I would like to ask our second vice president to talk about this because he's an industrialist as well. Second vice president.
Well, thank you for your observation. Yes. Our educational system has kind of stagnated. We've been experiencing progress in other parts of our lives, but in our educational system we seem to be going back and forth. This time they tell you 5 years of secondary education, the next time you say 6 years, then go back to 5 years and all of that. Now, your question specifically is directed at the impact or the contributions of industry to the educational curriculum of the students who are in school. And it also boils down to what I initially said, that the curriculum that I went to school with has not so much changed with the one the people in school now are going through. Take for instance, there's no office in Lagos or anywhere in the country that you go to and find drawing boards. And so schools must prepare students to come to the industry with the necessary skills to hit the ground running. A lot of times we discover that students come to offices to work. The offices have to virtually train them in appropriate software and all of that. Well, you may want to say that, or some people may want to argue that not all education is done in the classroom. You have what they call internship, so that in the course of training, these same students have the opportunity to go to the industry and have some bit of industrial experience. That has worked in other clients. But what we have here is that at the end of the session, we have a lot of students who want to do internship, and they keep looking for places to go for this internship. A lot of offices are not engaging these students enough, or are not even taking them for internship, because a lot of them complain they don't have jobs. So what happens? The students just play around, and at the end of the period, they go back to school. It's a general societal problem. But I want to say that education is a combination of the classroom and also the industry. And that's why for architecture particularly, students are expected to have something in the industry, and that way there's a symbiotic relationship between the classroom and the industry. Now come to the aspect of the environment. Now, like has been said here a couple of times, that any city or any group of people are judged by the quality of their buildings. If you go to any town, once you look at the quality of buildings, it tells you a story about the people who live in that area. Yes, it may be the responsibility of the architects to take full responsibility for whatever it is, but there's also the problem of too many charlatans in the industry. You find a situation where if you want to take a census of the buildings that have sprung up in Lagos, for instance, it may surprise you to know the statistics of those that are actually designed by architects. We've become a society that thinks the architect is elitist and that the architect is expensive. And I've had cause to tell a couple of the world. Nobody is looking at whether you have 8 A1s in physics, chemistry, biology, math, and all that. They want to see your portfolio. So that ab initio, as you are entering the profession, you already have a flair for creativity. There's some people say you may be intelligent if you are a science student,
But there are some that are analytical and some that are creative. If you are analytical, you probably will do well in engineering because you like numbers, like my friend Roman. You'll be a very good engineer. That's why it's diverted to economics and all of that. But you also have some others who may not have the A's in physics, chemistry, and they may just be average, but they have a very creative mind and they can give you several solutions to the same problem without blinking an eye. So that also affects the quality of what comes out. If you don't sieve what comes in, what goes out becomes not so good. And that's why you find that even at the secondary school level, you discover that there are some schools that make good grades in their WAEC and their concluding exams, because those schools, they don't compromise on the quality of students that come in the first place. Once you have the right set of people who come in, you most likely get the right set of people that go out. So I hope I've been able to address the bit of your problem, but like I said, it's a complex problem which does not, it will not deviate from the general societal problems which as a nation we've been facing all these years. Thank you.
Thank you, Second Vice President. I'm sorry I'll have to stop it now because our time is fast spent. I would like to very quickly give the mic first to Architect Sam and then to Architect Roman for any concluding statements.
I really do not have any concluding point other than the fact that this microphone is what's holding people from their lunch. So,
thank you.
I want to take on what you said about education, right? I'm an advocate of human capital development, right? And I've done a lot of research on it. And I'll tell you this, the education, right, you see, the reflection of the society is what the society spends on education. We got human capital development right in the 60s, 70s, and early 80s, and that was why the economy was good. We were heavily investing in education. As of the United Nations says 26% of GDP, or 26% of budget, or 5% of GDP. As of 1980, from the 70s, we were spending in the 3% average of GDP on education. 1981, we reached 5%. In 1981, we had a GDP of 61 billion, and our education expenditure was 3.1 billion. If you calculate it into 5%, right? If you have a GDP of 61 billion, there's no way you will have a budget of more than 7-8 billion. Calculate 3 billion as a percentage of 7 to 8 billion. You know that you're hitting like 40%, right? So basically what was happening in the 60s and 70s was that we had majorly capital expenditure. Our capital expenditure was like 70% of the budget. But somebody came in 1985, 1986 and started reducing it, right? And it now got to 0.72% of GDP in 1991, and it has remained below 1% for that long. In the whole of Africa, Nigeria spends the least as a percentage of budget on education. I have compared Nigeria with all the countries of Africa. We spend the least. So whatever you see in the society is what you allocated to education in your budget. And that's why every parent is suffering it, right? Majority of what you earn goes into paying school fees. And the school fees and health are supposed to be merit goods that government is supposed to give to you free. So whatever you see today is what the society decided they want it to be.
Thank you very much, well, just before we go for the lunch, and this microphone goes off, the chairman has a few announcements.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate everybody being here. The afternoon session that we're going to have will start immediately after lunch, say 2:30. The chairman of that session is already waiting for us, and that session might be merged the way we merged it yesterday. It's going to be an interesting session. Let us not just come visit the Bhutan. Let's come for this practical session that really tells us a lot about ourselves. Today we've heard it that Nigeria is where it is today because we decided as citizens that this is where we want to be. Please let us come back for more. We can't spend over 4 million bringing people from Canada and all that to come here without us not listening to them. I feel bad that we didn't give Roman a lot of so much time. I've engaged with him so many times and he told me I am ready for Lagos. So I feel we haven't taken 20% of what he has for us.
When people are wearing striped shirts and you wear a check, it's more aesthetic. When they are wearing check like you guys are wearing now, they are also wearing check. It's aesthetic, I mean. That's it. That's what it is. It's sensitivity to know that. You know, and it's not subjective. Those things I just said, are they subjective? They're not. That thing that they told us in architecture school, that architecture is subjective, it's not true. It's making people hungry. It's not subjective. Great architects like Tuka, they know it's not subjective. If it was subjective, they won't keep coming back to him. They'll say, okay, let's break dice to see who they are. Do you understand? And this is product design. Think about these sketches here is that, as a product designer, already I've made these sketches, these surfaces here, things that people, even your eyes are caressing them already. So if I make them, let's say that you caress it with your hand. And the minute I get to start caressing the product I'm making,
there's a saying now that gold is the new black. Remember, pink is the new black, orange is the new black. The whole key to aging is to stay relevant. Rather than stopping and saying, now we have 65, my life is over. If you can maintain that relevance, but a lot more than quite often a situation like this, where this Lissiski said that the room is there for the human being, not the human being for the room. So this is the image most people have when they get old. They have a room, they have a bed, they have a window, and they sit and they stare out of the window. So it's a very common image people have. My grandfather was like that. He just sat. That's all he ever did. But that's not what the upcoming generations are going to be looking for. They're going to be looking for more than a room with a bed and a window. This could be your home, this could be an apartment, this could be a senior citizen's residence. So when we think about aging, there's a negative connotation and there's a positive connotation. The connotation that we've had for years is that you age in place, you stay in your home.
Because the exhibition display company, you know, because of my background of architecture and product design, you know, you need that you have different crossovers, you have retail, you have exhibition, you know, you have all those things. So this was for an exhibition. So I did these things, I drew them as the exhibition thing. So the first thing he said is, you've done this very nice drawing, designer. How are you going to make them? What are you going to make them out of? I said, good. The guy laughed. He called somebody else in. He said, Look at this thing that this guy has done. This curvy thing, you know. He said he's going to make it out of wood. They both laughed at this guy. You think you're in Africa? You know? So he said, how are you going to do it? I said, we're going to bend wood. As you know, we will do it in architecture. Bend wood around the former. The guy laughed. He said, he's going to bring the best woodworker in England here. That if this guy cannot make it, you're a bullshitter. You are a bullshitter. No Igbo people, that's how they are. If you are alone with them in the room, they're not all smiling that they will sell you glass and you're not going to make it. They're not like that. So this guy, Jim, never forget that guy. He turns up, he too laughing. You can't make this out of wood, you know. So I said, has you ever heard of flexiply? We all know flexiply. Okay. The guy said yes, but you can't make this out of flexiply. So I said no problem. I draw a former for him. I do a scale model for him and draw a large scale former. Make an MDF former and form it round.
You want to see it? So you want the video is now, you want to snap it, so that I'll be able to show my face. Yeah, I mean I don't like that kind of face. Me I did here, Rafa. Video is where
like this now.
I think this is better.
Happy?
This one.
Yes. Even when I left there, and I was working in the car industry, I was working in the film industry, They were still calling me just to do a sketch that Julian will be doing the details. Because you know what? In England, architects are not trained. They are born. Just like a footballer. You know, you cannot train a good footballer. He has something instinctive. So, we can't have great architects that even export quantity and quality architects in Nigeria and be complaining that there's no enabling environment. We are the enabling environment. The government doesn't have a clue. Buhari is a soldier trained to destroy. We are trained to build. And you know, sadly, we've had 2 vice presidents that have been architects. One was an overriding success. Brilliant guy. The other one, So like I said, after this session, we're going to be better architects, we're going to build our society. In 5 years, it is your own wood firm that will be exhibiting here, not the one from Scandinavia. You will go and sit in Scandinavia. Your own glass firm will come and tell us, and you say you have 300 area boys in Nigeria that can be working on glass. We don't lack numbers. So this also was one of the things.
With their friends, sometimes friends come together. Children love it because they know the parents have a lot to do. So the board and the thing on the top of here is this whole private day. This project I'm going to show you. These are all roof gardens. So the company that I'm going to go, the project is called Oak. It's in a city called Vancouver, Canada. And as I said, it is near the sea.
Garden as well.
Yes.
Next to the night.
Right now, Pascal and I are looking at doing new materials. Doing no engineering whatsoever. So they can come up with resins for us. Everybody knows an engineer that comes up with resins, they're very valuable. If you introduce me to him, I can give you 20K. Do me a resin. Do you understand? And after a while, 20K can come up with a lot of money when we start making things and we start using it to build buildings, big buildings, Mats. Why can't we use mats as roofing sheets? Why not? Those plastic resins are impenetrable. You can't destroy them, you know that. Why aren't we doing that? Government has not provided an enabling environment. Abi? That's why, Abi. This was a proof of concept for a program. For a TV show. But he's also talking about new material. So this was a car made out of reconstitute concrete.
What happens is, most times when you get a project, calculate whatever you're paid calculate your profit, whatever work you do, make sure that profit comes out of it. You know why? Because anything can happen along the line. Yes, the job can stop. I had a project like that too. We were pumping everything. At the end of the day, you know what? The bank took over the project from the client. And then it now became, you know what? We were not walking away with anything. It was our words against theirs. So, get your profit out, even if they pay you 1 naira. Calculate 20% of that 1 naira. You have worked 1 naira, right? You would deserve to be paid from that 1 naira. Keep good records. Now, if you want to be successful, right? In anything you do, if you want to be successful, there's nothing like having good records. I used to work with an oil and gas company, right? When I left school, it wasn't business, right? You pay for the food. Because they've already given you, the privilege, right? The opportunity to resolve it outside courts. You understand? Although it's not all the provinces that practice it. Well, if you lose, I think it's about 60 to 70% of the other person's lawyer's fee that you have to pay. So you are paying your legal fee and you carry the other one. When they saw all that, they started submitting that. Look, even when they said, I still follow equity. I don't want to do it. You understand? Because when I start saying, pay me the money, right? It also means that I'm not integral. You understand? If you shake your hands over an agreement, no matter how it works, you have to stick by it. That's what makes you a man, a woman. You understand? Now, most people, right, don't see buying softwares, they don't see all this automation thing as investment. They don't see it. But you know what this thing does? They close gaps, they close deficiencies, they increase the efficiency. It's like you're using machine for production and using hand. You understand? Don't think that that 3D printer or this that you are buying or the fast computer with better processor, right? It's too expensive. You don't be using these guys. Let me tell you what. Let me do something. If you pay your employee, right? Let us pay him 500,000 every month, right? Let us say you pay an employee 500,000 every month. And you want the average working day. Sorry? 100,000 for ease of calculation. People are sleep drivers. They are sleep drivers.
That's usually reality here. Here is reality.
Okay, so let's just say you pay 100,000 a month, right? The average working days of the month is 22 days, right? Divide that 100,000 by 22. What do you get? Let's do maths. Bring that to calculator. Divide 100,000. Sorry? 450. 4,559. Divided by 22.
4,545 naira.
4,000 what? 545. So this is how much you pay a day. That's how much you pay per day. Right? Now, divide this by 8 hours.
568.
Sorry?
568.
568 naira. Right? That's how much you pay per hour. Now, it is estimated that every employee loses minimum 1 hour of work every day. No, I'm just saying. See, I'm just saying, right? Let us say you don't. They lose 1 hour every day, right? Now, when we're doing business, that's the way to lose, right? 1 hour. They've lost phoning their friends, or going to make coffee, or most companies in Canada, they see your Facebook. You don't finish it. So going to the toilet, most times when people go to the toilet, they're supposed to spend 5 minutes, they come back 30 minutes. So it's understandable. But you see, employers pay for it, and it's even worse in this part of the world. Why? Because there, as you are coming in, you are clocking in your this thing. So the day you are not at work is not paid for. You understand? It's not paid for. So
this one is every day. If you come 15 minutes, you see your money. He does. Yes.
So if you what happens, right? If you're using outdated machines, right? You're reducing what? Efficiency. And as you're reducing efficiency, you're still paying the same number. Yeah, you're still paying the same normal cost. So that's where investing in automation, right? Machines that increase efficiency, right? That it helps. At the end of the day, you think they're expensive, right? But they actually help you save money. If you look at it on the long run, because something that an old machine is supposed to do for like 3 hours, you find a newer machine doing for like 1 hour, or 1 hour 30 minutes, right? So if good, exactly. So if that one machine, the old one, is doing one work for 3 hours, you are paying almost 1,600, right? For that 3 hours of work. But if that machine, and the newer one is able to do it for 1 hour, what have you done? You're only paying what? 568 naira. You get the logic. Huh? What do you mean many people will lose job?
Yes, now because there's a machine that can give me this.
It's not, you don't understand. It's not the machine that's doing it. It's the person doing it.
What was the first prototype that came out? Who did these prototypes? I went to the factory one day and said, you have to do a prototype for this thing if you're going to make it. You know my client said, how are we going to make it? You know I'm not a designer. I will have a deadline. You say, find one of these boys to make it up. Who is going to make it? Oh, Papa T, you're just a bastard. You know, you're not a this, you're not a that. Then we say, what about Uche, the chemical engineer? Uche can make it now. Then you ask Uche, the chemical engineer, can you make it? What is he going to say? Yes, sir, I can make it. I mean, that was Uche's first attempt out of metal. I told Uche, I said, no, you know what? You have to make it out of plastic. Because we're going to make it out of plastic. This was Uche's second attempt out of plastic. This one here. I said, Uche, carbon is too rough now. You want us to be, you want them to be abusing made in Nigeria and it's too rough. God who made you. This one, Uche is not that. This is Uche. Making out of plastic. Uche figured out a lot of those things himself when I was telling you. Uche, actually you're a graduate. You can do it now. Do it like this. Think of metal. This line here, see this line here, Uche. See this. My point here is not here now. My point here is here. Bring it down. Make it dynamic. Can't you see it's sitting on the V? And I hope this next time you see. Uche has made 200 and 500.
Sir, how many?
Eh?
I didn't get many.
Uche made how many? 300 made.
Eh? I said Uche has now made 300. If you ask Uche, can you make it now? Uche will say, I can make it better than anybody in the world. And even when I ask Uche, you're doing such a good job. How did you say it's calculations? You know I'm an engineer. So amongst Uche, Taobi, and our future area boys that we don't get, they can make anything. And you know what it is, eh? What is incredible about us, all of us, is that, you know, to impress your boss, you do something more that the boss can't even do. He has to even invite you. And these guys are now doing it in number. Do you understand what I'm saying? In large numbers. So Uche is telling Tauri push it. Do you understand? Tauri is saying, remember, Tauri trained Uche. Uche learned how to weld from Tauri. That's why, you know, because Uche, his only skill was chemical engineering certificate, and now welding from Tauri. That's why he did it in metal first. He learned how to do it in plastic from that your guy, that very quiet guy, who studied insurance. Who studied insurance, by the way, who is the chief fabricator. When I asked him, I said, you studied insurance now, why is it that you are the one making everything? You know what he said? He said, that they said he should go to school, so that's what he is looking for. But he doesn't like insurance, he doesn't know anything about it. That this screwdriver.
You don't have the full model.
Eh?
You don't have the full model with the secrets in there. Let's see how you do. Yeah, the finished product with the secrets in there.
We don't have it here. We don't have it here. But this
But it's a secret in there.
It's exactly the
There's one, yeah, but I mean, complete, so that we see how their booking carries it.
Yes,
so that we know
You see, so now
what advantage when it goes
see now they put that they handle it. Because my initial concept was not for the bragging. It was like, you know, imagine how you bragging with something else. But the client later asked them to do it. And you know, they don't even do it. You understand? So, please tell them about that guy, that other guy.
But my question is, have you guys taken the area?
The area?
Yes. I mean, the process has it.
I'm sorry, there was never area in the boy.
Tauri now is the manager.
So we must not refer to it.
We're destroying people that we have spent money on to train. There was no area.
Tauri now is the manager. Tauri then.
So that's the story.
There was no area. In my office, there is nobody chasing people to resume work. I'm not joking. Because it is there.
This guy said he's hungry. Suffering is hungry. And one of the guys said, how can you be suffering and hungry and you're the one making all this? Are you stupid? That was the end of the story. Guys like to think different. Okay, this thing we're making, is it not making money? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
Different story.
He mentioned peace. Peace is a very peculiar story, and I'm lucky that Peace came before Uche. So Peace is a graduate of mechanical engineering from UNILAG. And Peace is someone who, while in school, had done a small project and self-financed them, you know, to one of those
electric engine car.
an electric engine car. Enterprising boy. So he came into the system, of course. And our city, I'm not saying the software doesn't do what it does. The software does what it does. But the thinking cannot be this software. These days you meet people, you meet young people, and they want to show you that I have to use ABC, show you how to communicate. But this is the challenge. We need this solution. We want to solve this problem. They can't initiate if you don't sketch and you don't draw. How will your idea come out? Then I've seen him. The idea goes from a simple, maybe 4 lines, and he keeps going. This is pencil and paper. Before he uses all the software. Before he gets to the software, it might take him 2 weeks. But the day he sits on the software, what you're going to see is like X-Men level. So that's something else I learned from him. So Peace took that, his ability, because he did one project, and began to feel, you know how it is. You can use the software. Now, this thing is a journey. Industry is team play. Industry is team play. The guys who Nigerians who leaders don't know that. The kid is one man.
Sorry? Yes, once you make it a habit, it becomes a serious habit. So let's go. So basically, right, most of what I'm saying, educate yourself on them, right? If you're in the bus, if I take the train for instance, I just Google things, right? I think of something I want to know. I Google it, and before I finish that, yes, I would have learned 1 or 2 things. I listen to a lot of audio books. You understand? When I'm driving long distance, right? People who drive long distance or you travel long distance to work every day, 1 hour you're in the traffic. Do you know that if you do 1 hour go, 1 hour come in a week, you will have finished reading 1 book, audio. There are some books, right, that resonate in my head as if they are songs. I'm telling you because I've listened to them over and over and over again. If you do, you'll be very surprised. Yes, you'll be very surprised. You'll be very surprised what you can accomplish. Audio books. Choose a very good accounting software. See, all these things I just taught you guys, right? I read them months ago. And when they asked for them, right? When they asked for I was just asking. You understand? See, and I've been trying, these are things that I was also looking for answers for. And I did the research, right? And I came across a very good article that taught me practicals and all that. I read a lot of them, but I jotted down a lot of things. But what am I saying? For you to be able to save money, right? It all depends on how you handle your account. And how you handle your account depends also on the investment you make into that account, right? If you get a very good accountant, if you're the kind that has a good accountant, please, all this hunting, right? Try as much as possible to reduce it. Let everything be what software. The world has moved beyond that, you understand? You can cloud your information, right? And if you're, wherever you are around the world, right? Wherever you are around the world, right? If your accountant prepares anything and puts them in the account, you can access them. You understand? Look at them. Because you're a project person. For instance, today you're in London, right? And you want to know how your engineer is doing a project, what they bought. All you need to do is what? Access the cloud and get all the way down, right? Not that you call them, how many bags of cement will I buy? How many this? You understand? Just make sure that you get a very good accounting package that can enhance what? Your cost analysis. That is it. Thank you.
I'm just going to the class. That will replace this class.
I don't know but I can send it to them. You see, that's why I said, see, it's better to be. You see, when you pick a book, they will say, oh, you are reading, he's doing something good, right? If you read 24 hours of the day, they will say you are doing something good, right? Oh, you can read on this 24 hours of the day if you discipline yourself. Yes. It depends on what you are using it to do.
I'm not the one who's on your neck to the other side.
Did you shuffle it well?
Wait, let me shuffle. Yeah, you two shuffle it. Use your hand.
Brenda, if your husband making you lose weight, but you're looking very cute.
I'm looking good, right?
Very good.
Nice.
Thank you.
And the winner for today is Dia Oyedamayo Emmanuel. Is anybody like that here?